So we're going to do kind of similar as last year, just as far as our kind of weekly schedule. But first, let's get straight to it, baby. We got to look at some value plays for this week. I think this is going to be an interesting week as we're trying to get our feet underneath us. Right, we've been given depth charts, so to speak, but my boy Bill Krosky's at four string. I highly doubt that holds after this week, but um, it's going to be interesting to try to figure out, where there actually is value. So this week's going to be kind of best guesses. So we'll kind of start at the quarterback position. This one's going to be a little bit easier just because it's based off salaries and potential fantasy points. So Cole, quarterback wise, give me 1 to 2 values you see out there this week.
Man, I'll tell you what, if you guys aren't hammering Kyler Murray to start the year off, I suggest you do
Against the Saints.
Because I looked at the Saints depth chart for their cornerbacks.
It's brutal.
And Kool-Aid McKinstry. I'll tell you what, the phrase for Kool-Aid is, oh yeah, it's gonna be oh no. So I'm going with Kyler Murray for one, and the second one's gonna be Bryce Young.
I like it.
His improvements last year, we're gonna hope that he carries over into this new year with learning improvements. He's going up against Jacksonville, which is not a great defense, and they've retooled their wide receiver core. So with that retool, that wide receiver core, I'm excited to see if Bryce Young can do something. So I'm gonna go and pick him for my value.
I like it. It's right off the bat, you talk about the kind of the wide receiver rebuild for them, and you've already got Coker on the IR. They're bringing old man, what's his name, Renfro back in. So it will be interesting. They do have that, however you say his name, McMillan. How do you say his first name?
McMillan.
Tat, yeah.
Tat. It's just
Tat. We'll just go with Tat because that's easier to say than his whole first name.
Then you think about you got Leggett still, and then you got Elik Manor, who is pretty talented himself. But I'm looking forward to see how they look.
Yeah. Both guys you said terrible defenses they're playing, so I like both those picks for sure. Gabe, what do you got?
Yeah, so I got three guys. Start off on the high end, Jaden Daniels. He's the highest priced quarterback on the slate, but he's playing the Giants. He averaged 75 yards rushing a game last year, 51 yards rushing a game last year, and a TD about on the ground about 1 every 3 games. I think if you can find that dual threat ability, that's good. And I'm going with Trevor Lawrence is probably my best play of the week at 5,300. Carolina was ranked dead last against quarterbacks last year in fantasy. So anytime you get that, that's a good thing. And one of the sleeper picks, I think, for this week will be Tua at 5,800 coming back after the injury. Last year he played 11 games, but in those 11 games he averaged 260 yards a game, and they're playing in Indianapolis. So on that turf, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle would move pretty quick, and they're healthy. So when you get healthy Tyreek and healthy Jalen Waddle, you got to take him when you can. And Tua's shown he can spread that ball around. So I like that.
Yeah, on turf, Tua and the Dolphins are fast. I like that pick for sure.
Yeah.
I've got, you know how I roll with this, boys. Y'all are going to hear 2 names that you're very familiar with on my end of things. But I'll echo what you said, Gabe. I think Trevor Lawrence, 5,300 is a really, really great price for him. He's projected. There's only 4 quarterbacks this week that are projected higher than him, and he's the 8th cheapest quarterback you can get. So I think the value there is tremendous against a crappy Carolina defense. I'm just going to echo that on you. And then you called this like 4 weeks ago when you texted me. You got to go Joe Flacco, 4,900, one of the cheapest quarterbacks out there against Cincinnati's defense. If he was playing anybody else, I wouldn't say play him just because he's 45, 46, however old he is. But Cincinnati gave up the 27th most points to quarterbacks last season. And he's probably the second cheapest starting quarterback you can get this week. So I really like Joe Flacco. And then I'm going opposite of you, Gabe. I'm going Danny Dimes at 5,100. He's actually got some really good receivers that are healthy. Now, we all know – I know y'all are going to laugh. We all know that the Colts wide receiver core will be splattered by week 8. Nobody will be healthy. But week 1, he's got weapons. He's got a great running back in Jonathan Taylor, great offensive line at 5,100 against Dolphins defense, who is kind of retooling a little bit defensively. I really like Daniel Jones this week at 5,100. I think they're gonna let him cook a little bit, play action off Jonathan Taylor, and I like him. He's got time to be protected. I think there's some good opportunities there for Daniel Jones. I know that I can't wait for this clip to roll again where we have the little Creed song going in the background and Danny Dimes is going for 20 fantasy points, and I just can, just say, I told you, boys.
You know what I compare Daniel Jones to? This is what I compare Daniel Jones to. I can compare him to a merry-go-round. You get on it. It's entertaining while you're on it, but you always end up getting off at the same spot.
No doubt. No doubt.
I call him a treadmill.
You call him what?
Call him a treadmill. He doesn't move forward.
Oh, man. But I just think that.
But we'll see. It is exciting with Tyler Warren coming in.
Yeah, he's a great addition.
See how he does.
He's a great addition. Yep. He's a cheap tight end this week, but we won't jump to tight ends yet. Let's move to running backs. Gabe, you start us this time. Running backs, where do you see value-wise this week?
Yeah. So I'm going to go kind of with a guy that I think will be pretty highly owned, which isn't necessarily good for DFS tournaments, but Jonathan Taylor, 6,800. He was hurt a little bit last year, but he still averaged 1,400 yards, and that's pretty good. It's over 100 yards a game for the time he was healthy. And the guy that I'm most interested to see this week in a backfield that has so many question marks is Austin Eckler at 4,800. Not really sure if he's got any tread left on the tires or not, but when you know what he was capable of doing, I just don't know how much they want to wear him down, early in the season. With a lot of young running backs that they might lean on at the goal line. So it's really going to depend on his pass catching. He's 4,800. I mean, that's close to 15-point projection. That may be a lot, maybe a little steep week 1. But like I said, he'd probably be a guy low owned out of that backfield. I think a lot of people will lean towards that Jacoby, whatever that rookie is that killed it in the preseason.
Just call him Bill.
I'm just Bill. Just call him Bill.
That's what he wants to go by is Bill.
Bill
Krosky.
Bill Krosky. And then the last
a little too close to Bill Cosby, by the way. So he needs to be careful with that.
Yeah. The real Bill Crosby. I'll let Cole go because I think I kind of know where he's going to go with this next pick. I don't want to snipe him. So go ahead, Cole.
I don't know. I don't know if he'll snipe me. You already sniped me with Jonathan Taylor.
Oh.
Week 1, I think I'm going to go with my running backs. I'm going to go value by volume. My new phrase.
I like it, value by volume.
So I'm going to go with guys that are expecting to get a lot of carries. So I'm going with Jonathan Taylor, who's consistently up there with volume, and then I'm going to go Chuba Hubbard as another guy that I'm taking a look at against Jacksonville's defense, who is awful at 31st rank against running backs. Yeah. And then the last guy I got is Kenneth Walker, which may be a little bit of a risk, but he is going to get a significant amount of carries, and especially with who even is their quarterback now?
Darnold.
Yeah.
That's all you got to say.
The only issue you might run into there is Charbonnet played really well when Kenneth Walker was hurt last year, and I think there's a lot of running back rooms that are coming up now, and we can touch on that. But Kenneth Walker, I think Charbonnet is going to take a bigger role this year. He kind of he's been there for a while. So
they've got him on like some. Yeah, they've got Ken Walker on some like. What's the correct terminology I'm trying to think of? It's not a rest plan, but it's like a what's the NBA? What do you call it when they sit out?
They don't play? Load
management. There you go. That was the word I was looking for. He's going to be a little bit. He'll be on load management watch this week for sure. Paul's.
I agree.
The only thing I would say too about Chuba Hubbard that makes me nervous is signing Dowdle or Dowdle, however you say his last name. Rico Dowdle's there. I think he was pretty good for Dallas last year, especially towards the back end of the season, if my memory is correct. So a little nervous about going Chuba first week. I still think he'd had a great season last year, and I think he's going to continue to be, a solid running back for him. But I just wonder a little bit worried about splitting carries a little bit there. So I've got Alvin Kamara as my
Oh, I would have sniped you.
value.
It would have been Cole. It
Yeah,
would have been you.
I really like Alvin Kamara at 6,300. That's probably, I mean, feels like it's as low as it's been in a while. I know the offense is terrible, but I do expect that with a crappy quarterback situation, there are going to be some dump offs, some opportunities to get him the ball in space. He's obviously a tremendous pass catcher, and at 6,300, that's with the amount of volume he's going to get. Getting a running back under 65 is really, really. I really like that one a lot, especially with his pass catching ability. And then the other guy I had circled was James Conner this week. I'm a little bit concerned about him splitting carries with Trey Benson, but I do think he'll get goal line touches. I like him against the Saints. The fear for me about the Saints-Cardinals matchup is it could be 42-0 by the third quarter. So that makes me slightly nervous there. And then the other guy I had circled with the news breaking about an hour ago is going to be Brian Robinson Jr. They've already listed McCaffrey as questionable with calf issues. We saw that last year, and if he can't suit up, it's going to be a last-minute thing. So it's going to be hard to get Brian Robinson at the tail end because San Francisco is super sketchy about their injury report.
Yeah. Dude, I was about to say, I'm going to go on this tangent again, man. The 49ers, they got to get fined. They got to do something because you can't have the whole offseason, the whole preseason go on, and then right before the week 1 of the season, say that he has calf issues when he had double Achilles tendonitis all year last year. Like,
literally 30 minutes before this game started, the first game of the NFL season, they finally break that he's got a calf injury that he's dealing with. So
I tell you what, it is very worrisome with those calves whenever they start acting like that. I mean, that typically leads to a popped Achilles. I mean, that's what it's been. That's what the trend's been the last few years with Kevin Durant. And you saw how Tyrese Halliburton did it. He complained about his calf being sore, and next thing you know, next week it popped.
Tatum's the same way. I mean, you just see it, especially with these guys that are 30 and the amount of work he's had. Brian Robinson's just going to be somebody to keep an eye on. We'll just leave it there. Let's pivot from the depressing news. Let's go receiver here. I'll start us since I haven't started yet. I've got Marvin Harrison Jr. circled in this one at 5,500. He is a receiver 1 for them. New Orleans is, I mean, Cole, you already alluded to how bad they are. What was the theme that you had for Kool-Aid?
It's going to be
the Kool-Aid man busts through the wall and say, "Oh yeah."
So
oh no,
I like Marvin Harrison. The reason I like him too is I think he had a really tough season last year. I think they're going to go to him early this year, try to get him some confidence. And at 5,500, a receiver 1, I feel like that's a really good price. He's projected about 15 points this week. So I kind of like that one. I like the rookie Emeka Egbuka, or however you say his name, Egbuka. He's 4,600 this week. The reason I like him is there's going to be no Godwin this week. Jalen McMillan's already on IR. Evans is older. He's 30, 31. And then Otten's also questionable this week. He's been dealing with an injury all preseason. So I think that he'll be wide receiver 2 for them this week at 4,600. In a high-powered offense, I really like him to kind of be a sneaky pick this week. Or maybe not so sneaky. Maybe a high share this week. But the final guy I have, this is, again, kind of echoing the injury report with Emeka, but I like Romeo Doubs this week at 4,300. And the reason I like him is we already saw Christian Watson's on the IR already, which that dude can't stay healthy. So that's good for Dobbs. Jaden Reed's got one of those Jones fractures in his foot. He's going to try to play through that. Good luck. It's going to be brutal. So I think if you kind of go down the list, you look at Romeo Doubs and you're going to look at Matthew Golden as your kind of 1-2 here. I think Jaden Reed's going to give it the best he can, but I think Romeo Doubs at 4,300 is a sneaky steal that you might be able to get this week if you're looking for a receiver on the cheaper end. So that's kind of my 3 I have circled.
Curious who's going to be higher owned in that for the Packers, if it'll be Golden or if it'll be Dobbs this week. I think the hype around Golden is pretty significant. So one thing I'll say about Marvin Harrison Jr. Last year he averaged about 7 targets a game. He was on my list too. He's at 5,500. So yeah, that's about 15 or 16 points. I think that's probably the right place for him, but if they're expecting him to make that leap. But one thing about fantasy football is he was predicted last year, drafted top 10.
Yeah.
And this year he's somewhere falling in like 3rd or 4th round. It's like the opposite of what should have happened last year to what now is happening this year. Like you get him late. But I think, like I said, Britton, I like my Marvin Harrison Jr. But I'm also going to lean on Brian Thomas Jr. and his second year.
I like him, especially if you're going to stack him. Yeah.
Yeah. He averaged 75 yards a game last year with some bad quarterbacks after Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
And he scored 10 touchdowns. So I think his talent's obviously undeniable and he's getting his quarterback back. So against the Carolina team, it's trash. I mean, that's Carolina's trash. And then my favorite play at the wide receiver position, and I might catch absolute hell for this, but Cedric Tillman, 4,400 against Cincinnati. You got Judy there, who's going to be the number one. Cedric Tillman was wide receiver 1 for 3 straight weeks last year in fantasy when I think Flacco was there for a little bit, and who was the other guy that got hurt? I think Cooper. Who was there in front of Judy? Was it Cooper?
Cooper got traded to. When he got traded, it was basically Judy and Tillman.
Yeah. So after Cooper got traded, that's when Tillman went off. Yeah.
Yeah, he was great for like a 3 to 4 week stretch, and then he got hurt. I think he had a concussion, and then just never kind of recovered after that.
Yeah. So 4,400 for a guy that was that good last year at the end of the season, I think is a good chance to take. I think it'll be heavy on Judy to start the season. They'll be leaning on that. So good contrarian play with Tillman. But those are kind of the guys I'm leaning on. What do you got, Cole?
Yeah, I'm in complete agreement with you guys. I've got Marvin Harrison picked. I think that's a no-brainer for me because he's a young guy. I mean, he just got into the league last year. Those young guys tend to take a next step, and get better, especially whenever he had a kind of a down year this past year. So I feel like he's going to have something to prove, and I feel like he's going to come out and possibly make some noise on Sunday against the Saints. Unfortunately, I'll be watching that. Another guy, I'm going to go opposite of Cedric Tillman. I'm going to say Jerry Jeudy. He had his breakout year last year, but Flacco started throwing him the ball. Massage boy couldn't get him the ball, so Flacco can though.
Massage boy.
But my third guy is such a toss-up, man. Chris Olave, because when he's on the field, he's consistent. When he's healthy, he's consistent. But when he's it's just him getting hurt all the time.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, the quarterback play, obviously, it is a huge risk.
Yeah.
But it is possibly a big reward because he is the best receiver and the wide receiver 1 right now for the Saints. That possibly are going to have to throw the ball a lot against the Cardinals.
Yeah.
So
I like it too.
Those are my picks. I mean, if you want to take the risk, I mean, he's right there. I'll see what his salary is. His salary is right there at 5,100. So he's cheaper than Marvin Harrison. Yeah. So. I mean, those are the receivers I got picked, and I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, they got to throw it to somebody. I like Kamara and Olave, especially if they get down early. There's an opportunity for them to catch some balls because they're going to be behind, and I expect that to happen because they are awful, especially at quarterback. I don't know how else to put it. So let's jump. Let's go tight ends here. If Cole, if you have Kyle Pitts, I'm going to throw up.
Well, I'm going to make you barf on this stream.
I don't have Kyle Pitts this week. I do get them in both of my fantasy leagues. I expect a bounce back year with Penix throwing him the ball, and it's time for him to I don't know the better term. I think there's a crapper get off the pot.
It's time to break through that wall. We're going to break through that wall of that anger wall of yours, and it's going to be glorious.
Yeah,
we've said that for 5 years.
So I know. But this is the one. I can feel it. One pick. Another tight end I have is David Njoku against Cincinnati. Cincinnati's ranked dead last, 32nd against tight ends. And then the last tight end I have is Jawan Johnson with the Saints. Now, the reason I pick him is because their receiving core is god awful besides Shaheed and Olave. So Jawan Johnson typically lines up in the slot a lot and is always on those mid-breaking routes. And he sometimes gets a lot of targets. So I'm going to pick him in some lineups that I can get him really cheap with. So those are my tight ends.
The fact that we've named like 3 Saints players, maybe we should reevaluate here because this is going to be the worst offense probably in the NFL. But that's okay. Gabe, what you got?
All right, so before I go to my favorite play at the tight end position, I'm just kidding. Maybe not my favorite play, but Mason Taylor for the Jets at 3,100 is he's a guy that a lot of people probably won't be putting in a lot of lineups just because the Jets offense with Justin Fields is so to be determined, especially with Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall. I mean, I think it could be really good if Justin Fields plays well. If he can open it up with his legs and show some ability to throw down the field to Garrett Wilson. But every quarterback loves a good tight end as a safety blanket. No real stats to say on Mason Taylor besides that he's just. I'm hoping that he gets like Cole said, value by volume there in the passing game. But dude, I'm on Kyle Pitts, man. 4,300. He is so cheap. He has a quarterback. Now, trivia question. It's just, I think you'll get this. It's not a super hard question, but Kyle Pitts has 1,000-yard receiving season in his career. He's been in the league for, I think, 5 years. Do you know who the quarterback was on that season?
Desmond Ritter.
Heineke.
No. Matt Ryan. His first season.
I was going to say Matt Ryan. I thought it was too obvious.
His first season in the league. And then you named the two after that. Desmond Ritter and then Taylor Heineke. Okay. Now, he did have Kirk Cousins last year, but everybody knows what Kirk Cousins is.
Don't speak that. Don't speak it.
Kirk Cousins is not a tight end. He's a receiver guy. He gave Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson owes whatever he has to Kirk Cousins. Great player, but Kirk Cousins is a force feeder. And I think Drake London had a great year last year, mainly because of Kirk Cousins. Now,
I like it.
Michael Penix, we saw what he did at Washington, spread the ball around when he had Jalen McMillan and Rome Odunze, and maybe another guy, I can't remember what his name is. He spreads the ball around. Kyle Pitts finally gets a quarterback that they went high in the draft on. I like it. Let's get this 1,000-yard season, Kyle Pitts. I'm taking it. I'm on DraftKings, Sportsbook, whatever it is. I'm on Kyle Pitts this year. I think this is the year he breaks through. And he also might get traded. Who knows? There was some speculation he gets traded. He hasn't been season long. That's another reason I like him, because he might end up at the Chiefs or something. So you never know.
Yeah. Kyle Pitts is such an athletic freak, man. He's gotta break through at some point. That's just my thought process. Is take the flyer on.
Talent's undeniable. All right, Braden, what you got?
I have one thing to say is you said you're going to be on Kyle Pitts probably 4 or 5 times in this segment, so just clip that for future reference that you will be on Kyle Pitts. But tight end wise, I've got Mason Taylor as well. I think Justin Fields is limited in who he can throw the ball to. I think that Mason Taylor's got pretty good hands. He's consistent, and he's going to be able to block, so I think he'll be on the field a lot. I like him there, especially Justin Fields. He's a 1 to 2 read guy max, and I think that's a good safety blanket for Justin Fields. So I like Mason Taylor. I think he'll be low ownership this week at 3,100. So I'm a big fan of that play. I've also got just keep an eye on the injury report. I like Payne Durham at 2,600. He had some flashes last year when Otten was out. I think that if Otten is out, and as much as the Buccaneers like to throw the ball, I think there's an opportunity there, especially with the receiver depth being a problem right now due to injury. So I like him at 2,600 if Otten can't go. And then my third is Brock Bowers. at 6,500. He is the highest tight end, but I think there's a lot of value there. He's a receiver 1. If you look at the receiving core for Las Vegas, it's pretty poor. Their best player is in dispute about contracts with Jacoby Myers at receiver 1. I think Brock Bowers makes sense if you can get a receiver 1 at 6,500. That's what Drake London's going for. That's what some of these other guys are going for. So I do think there's value there. Now, is that oh, wow. Miles Sanders coming back from the dead with like a 50-yard run right there. Let's go.
The Cowboys aren't going away, man. The Cowboys, they thought it was going to be a blowout, but it's not.
Yeah, so I do like
Not like Alabama and Florida State.
No, don't say it. I can't go there.
I'm going to kick you off the stream.
Can't do it. Ruined my whole – I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole, but when I tell you I didn't watch another minute of college football. But Brock Bowers, like him this week. So that's kind of the tight ends I have circled. Cole, did you already give your tight ends, or did I miss that?
Yeah, I gave my tight ends. I gave you
Juwan Johnson.
He
gave us his tight end. Pause. All right, so let's circle up. We always do a segment on core 4. It's kind of the 4 guys that we choose to build a majority of our lineups around. This is something that Gabe in his decade of playing daily fantasy has taught me. So, Gabe, I'll kind of let you take the floor first since this is your baby. What do you have core 4 for your lineups this week?
All right. So one thing when you're looking for value also is something we talked about. You got to find players that go against the grain, that if they have a good game, people may not have them in a lot of lineups, because if you find that guy that's owned in 2 or 3% of leagues and he ends up being the highest scoring player on the slate, that just separates you from everyone else and gets you in the top of those tournaments. So everybody, I think, will be heavy on Trevor Lawrence. I think we'll have some Jaden Daniels people out there, but I'm going Tua as my quarterback because you don't get this opportunity much with him when he has all his receivers healthy and he's healthy on the field at the same time. And I like that a lot. So I'm going Tua, and then Cedric Tillman. I'm going with him, 4,400. Kyle Pitts, you already know, 4,300. I'll die on the Kyle Pitts will revive himself this year. And then I'm going to go Jonathan Taylor, one of my higher-end players playing against Miami. With Miami losing Jalen Ramsey, I can't remember if that defensive end there that had an ACL or Achilles last year's back. So Christian Wilkins is gone. Miami's defense, dude, they might be that. They might. It's Christian Wilkins. Let's not even go down that road. Anyway, but
where did Christian Wilkins go? What happened to him?
Don't stop, yeah, get it. Shake that shit. Don't stop, break it.
No, we'll fall for it.
Not doing it. So yeah, if teams with bad defenses, they end up being in a. If you find a quarterback that has a bad defense, he's going to be behind. He'll be throwing the ball a lot. So yeah, Tua and JT. Another thing is finding games where you can find players in the same 100%. Game. And I think Tua and JT are good. That game should be high scoring.
I like that.
That's me.
Love it. Cole, what you got?
All right, my core 4, I'm starting off with Bryce Young. 5,700, revamped wide receiver room. Let's give him a shot. First game of the year. Another core 4 guy, Jonathan Taylor, 6,800, value by volume. David Njoku is a guy I've got 30 seconds. Yeah, really. David Njoku, 4,700, 32nd ranked defense against tight ends. Then Marvin Harrison Jr.
I like it. My core 4 this week, mainly because I just like Trevor Lawrence this week, so I'd want to stack. I like Brian Thomas Jr. I like Emeka Egbuka. That's going to kill me all year long. David Njoku, and I like Kamara this week because I'm kind of, he talks about value by volume. I think he's going to get a lot of touches this week because he's their best player in an offense that struggles. So that's my core 4 for this week. And then I did put Payne Durham as a potential core 4 guy if Otten's out, just because of the injury and how much Tampa Bay is going to throw it around this year. So that's kind of my core 4, something to think about this week. Let's go to Plum Pick. Plum Pick. You can feel it in your plums, Gabe. Who do you got?
Bro, you already know. You already know who I got. Kyle Pitts.
Yeah.
Enough said. Next.
All right. Cole, who you got?
I've got Deebo Samuel. Just
I
kidding.
was about to say, dude. I was about to say, holy, what a turn of events.
Oh man. Absolutely not. I've got. Well, let's make one thing clear. Plum Picks is just who we got, who we know is going to go off.
Well,
right?
it's also it's Plum Pick is for that, yes, but it's also maybe somebody that you don't expect to go off. So like low ownership, maybe somebody that's not your traditional, like Plum Pick can't be Bijan Robinson. Like it's not a Plum Pick. You're not stepping on a limb. You got to step out on a limb basically, a little bit, just a tad.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Let's see. I'm a huge Saints guy. So let's go Raheed Shaheed, the greatest name in football.
Now, if they had a good quarterback, that would not be a Plum Pick. But since Spencer Rattler is back there, we'll let it slide. That's fair enough.
Fair enough.
All
right, boys. I've been talking about him all offseason. Give me white boy Ricky Pearsall this week, baby. I think if you look at the injuries, you look at who they lost, give me white boy Rick all day, every day. I like him. Rob Purdy's going to.
That's borderline not a Plum Pick with how good he was at the end of the season, but I'll let it go just like Raheed Shaheed since we haven't seen it.
But his price is at $4,500.
Oh, I thought you were about to say 4,000, but 4,500 is still good. I still like that. So yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's right there with Kyle Pitts territory. Was Kyle Pitts 4,300? Get off of me, bro.
Just because he's 4,500 doesn't make him a Plum Pick. He's the number. I guess he's number 2 with Juwan Jennings, but Juwan Jennings is hurt, so he might be the number 1.
All right, let me step out on a limb then. Let me step out on a limb. Let me step out on a limb. I'll call my shot right here.
Okay.
Ricky Pearsall goes for 100 yards in a tub.
Okay, that's on the limb. All right.
You're watching the Fantasy Blueprint. We're going to end it here tonight on that.
On the shot early, Pearsall gets it done in Seattle. So.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
AI optimal lineups for this week. We'll kind of throw those on the TikTok channel like we do every week. This one, I wrote down kind of just a quick one that spat out for me. It was Trevor Lawrence at quarterback, Chase Brown, which we didn't really talk a lot about Chase Brown. That may be somebody that we need to circle back to at some point. It shot out Christian McCaffrey, Tetaroa McMillan, Juwan Jennings, Drake London, David Njoku, Devon Achane, who we also didn't talk about, and the Raiders defense. And that is going to equate or equal to 138.1 potential fantasy points based off projections. So that's kind of the benchmark. And I don't know if you guys did this or not, but when I did my optimal lineup, I kind of tallied up the fantasy projections just to kind of show you where I'm at compared to the AI. So my optimal lineup for this week, sitting at 133.9 projected points, is Trevor Lawrence at quarterback, Alvin Kamara at running back 1. I've got wrong page. I've got Jonathan Taylor as my running back 2, Brian Thomas Jr. in my stack with Trevor Lawrence, spending the big money on Jamar Chase. I actually made a pivot last minute with Christian McCaffrey being out, and had to do some soul searching, some last minute checks, and I have Matthew Golden over Romeo Dobbs at my next receiver spot. I've got David Njoku as my tight end. My flex play will be White Boy Rick, and my defense will be the Raiders for this week, and that is a projected 133.3 fantasy points, not 133.9. That was with Christian McCaffrey, but had to make some adjustments with that news because you could not tempt me with Christian McCaffrey this week if he was at 6,500.
All right. Yeah, the AI lineup putting Christian McCaffrey in there.
And
They
HM.
don't get the injury updates as frequently as we do, apparently.
No, they do not. Yeah, they do not. Gabe, what you got?
All right, so I'm going Tua, Tagovailoa, Alvin Kamara, Jonathan Taylor, stacking Tyreek Hill with Tua, 6,000.
I like that.
And then I'm going Brian Thomas, 6,800. Getting me some Cedric Tillman action, 4,400. And then following with a Kyle Pitts, 4,300. And then close it out in my flex position, a 3:30 slot game. Josh Jacobs, 6,700 against Detroit. Maybe they get down, need to throw the ball around a little bit. He gets some receptions. And then you know my strategy on defense. I'm most likely going to take the cheapest defense on the slate. And I'm going with the Tennessee Titans against the Denver Broncos in Denver.
I like it. I was listening to somebody talk about how bad the Titans defense is, and I was like, dude, did you not watch
really
them last year? I was like, it was not bad at all.
No, it's really not.
Also, we got a weather delay in Philadelphia.
I know, sad. So Titans defense, you got Jeffrey Simmons and you got Devondre Sweat in the middle. Two really good interior players, and they drafted a rookie, Fuwe Louis Kama something edge rusher, and their corners and safeties are pretty good. Their only issue is at linebacker. Their middle linebacker and outside linebackers are not very good. So that's kind of where they got into trouble last year. They had some injuries on the D line, which ultimately, when you get injuries on the D line, that the second level and linebackers have to play better, and the linebackers did not play better. But they're healthy to start the season. I know Bo Nix has been pretty good, but I don't know. I like the Titans' first game of the year. Just see what they got. They'll be hyped up with Cam Ward to play with some energy, I think, and see what happens.
I like it. Cole?
All right, so my favorite lineup I've made so far is Bryce Young at quarterback. I'm going at Chuba Hubbard stacked with Bryce Young. That's all I have stacked for the Panthers. Jonathan Taylor at running back 2. Marvin Harrison Jr., Jerry Jeudy, Chris Olave, David Njoku, Jahmyr Gibbs the flex. And then for my defense, I'm going low cost but possible high reward with the Jets going against Pittsburgh.
Okay.
I like that one.
Yeah, that's not bad. Okay.
What's the Jets price?
2,800.
2,800.
I think something we need to look at defensive wise. No, Brendan, you gave your lineup already, right?
I did, yeah. I did the Raiders at 2,600.
Yeah. So, oh wow, okay. So if you did the Raiders 2,600, you're gonna love this because this defense is also 2,600, and that's the Atlanta Falcons against Tampa. Now, yes, Baker Mayfield really well last year. Mike Evans, Bucky Irving have a good year. They lost their offensive coordinator to the Jacksonville Jaguars, Liam Cohen. The Atlanta Falcons have pretty much just said, we got a quarterback, we got skill players, we're going about as deep on defense as you can imagine in the draft. I mean, I think they drafted 4 or 5 guys on defense this past year. So, and that game's in Atlanta. So I like the Falcons a lot at 2,600 against Tampa. I know that might get a little bit of a side eye from some people, but they're one of the cheaper defenses on the slate playing at home with a new quarterback, and that place is going to be going wild.
Do you like them more than the Raiders playing against New England?
Oh yeah, I mean, with Travion Henderson and Drake May, Stephon Diggs is going to play. They said he should be out there playing, and the defense for the Patriots is pretty good. So I just don't know if I could see that game being pretty low scoring, which is good for defenses. But I think if ultimately New England has, I think, higher potential to, I wouldn't say score a lot of points because Tampa is Tampa and they were good last year. But when you get instability at offensive coordinator, there's a little bit of an adjustment period when those guys haven't played together in a real game scenario since like the preseason. Like I feel like there's always a little rust they got to shake off. And there's just not a lot of change in New England, whereas there's been a little change in Tampa. You got Godwin out, Evans is getting older. I could just see that game going a little sideways for Tampa and Atlanta.
I like it.
One thing I'd like to touch on real quick, Devon A-Chain, this is completely off topic. Devon A-Chain already has that Q next to his name.
Yeah, he's fine. He's fine. He's been battling a calf injury. They said he'll be ready for week 1 as long as he doesn't experience any setback after that.
Yeah, but if he does go down, Ollie Gordon.
Yeah, Ollie Gordon.
Ollie Gordon's had a good.
Because Jalen Wright's already listed as doubtful. Ollie Gordon was running back 3, and I think that you could get a steal there. The problem is A-Chain is going to suit up. It's just a matter of how long he plays.
Yeah. If you really have confidence he'll get hurt, then Ollie Gordon wouldn't be a terrible play. Nobody's going to have Ollie Gordon. Like, no one's picking him with A-Chain playing. So if you wanted just to throw like a cheaper lineup in and pick Ollie Gordon, and just if A-Chain gets hurt in the first quarter, that team, serious potential there.
Could you see Ollie Gordon getting goal line carries over A-Chain? A-Chain, however you say his name.
I mean, honestly,
because I know Gordon's a little bit of a bigger back. Most running backs in the NFL are bigger than A-Chain, but just curious there.
Games, I don't watch Miami every week like I watch the Titans. I mean, I watch the Titans every week. I don't think –
Sorry.
The games I did watch – yeah, no, it's terrible. The games I did watch Miami, I don't think they took him out and put Mostert in or any of those other guys. Now, Ollie Gordon is a little different of a running back than Raheem Mostert, but A-Chan, he was in at the goal line, I think, a fair bit. And also just that, I mean, with that team, when you got Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, I mean, they try to get him involved a lot more, I feel like, than the running backs at the goal line. You know, they're trying to get people on the edge. And A-Chan out of the backfield is probably the biggest threat in the red zone than him actually running the ball. So it is what it is. I'm trying to look at his stats right now, see how many rushing touchdowns he had last year. I mean, he played all 17 games. He had 6 rushing touchdowns, and he had 6 receiving touchdowns. So it's I don't know. We'll have to see how it shakes out week 1. Even if Ollie Gordon scores a touchdown in week 1, that's not gonna pay out enough for him to be a game breaker or slate breaker. He'd have to score multiple touchdowns and or play a high volume of snaps and catch some passes. And I think that's where A-Chan gets his value the most is you catch 6 passes, you've already got a touchdown.
Yeah, that's a good point. Just a curious strategy question there. My favorite segment, the no touchy segment. I'll start it since this is my favorite. This week, I am no touchy Cam Ward. I love Cam Ward. I think he is a dog, but that is a really tough environment for your first NFL game against a very good defense on the road. Cam Ward is a no touchy, which kind of leads me to the no touchy Calvin Ridley, no touchy to the however you say their tight end's last name, Chig, Kongwu, whatever. Yeah, I'm a little. I do think I do think that Cam Ward will be good. I just think that is a really difficult first game to go into your NFL career with. So I'm kind of a no-touchy Titans across the board offensively, but mainly just going to sit this one out for Cam Ward. I hope he proves me wrong, but just going to sit this one out. Cole, what you got?
My no-touchy is obviously, Deebo Samuel's obviously he's a forever VIP member of the no touchy list for me. Now that's a given. But I'm gonna throw something else out there that y'all aren't. Every single rookie in this class for me is a no touchy until I know what they can do.
Wow.
I don't care if your name is Ashton Genty. I don't care if your name is Shador Sanders. You are not getting touched this week on anything.
Shador Sanders definitely ain't getting touched this week.
He is not. No, he's not going to get any playing time anytime soon. But I don't have any faith in rookies right now. Travis Hunter would terrify me in a lineup. He's so small. He can get hit. And just fold and die. And what a horrible pick. Because they're unproven.
Yeah, trust me. I got him in like round 8 or 9 of our fantasy season-long draft. And I'm sitting here like on pins and needles saying, please, God, just keep his ACLs intact. Because I have no receivers.
You don't really know. You don't really know what you're getting with Ashton Genty. Like, yeah, he's great, but you've never seen him in the NFL.
Trent Richardson was great in college.
Great.
Shout out to Trent.
Yeah, if there's one thing New England does is they take what you do best away, and if they're going to try and get Ginty involved early. I mean, I feel like New England, especially with Mike Vrabel, that's another defense that will probably have a significant leap forward with Vrabel there. He's a defensive guy. They do ball control. So
Yeah.
My no touchy is the New York Jets.
Yes.
On the New York Jets, not named Mason Taylor since he's so cheap. I think we gotta wait and see for some of the higher price guys like Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall for sure. Like I will have zero action on Breece Hall over the weekend because they've said Braylon Allen looks really good and they're going to split carries with him. So I'm not touching that. One thing about this segment, people are going to listen to it, maybe about 11 people, and they'll say, no touchy. Why are you guys giving us players we don't want to take? Well, if you disagree, and this also kind of leads into the low ownership portion where if Cam Ward, say, gets lucky and throws a couple big play touchdowns at the end of the game, or maybe Denver gets like a couple of injuries, he's going to be a really low owned. And so if you trust the talent more than you trust the matchup, that's kind of where you can separate your teams. And Cole, who was yours again? Debo and who was it you said? Oh,
the
Raiders.
Whole rookie class, everybody.
The whole rookie class. Well, GNT, I think I disagree, but I see your point.